Caradog, Crag Jones, born 1962, is a noted Welsh climber. While he has achieved a number of firsts on peaks around the world, he is most well known for being the first Welshman to reach the summit of Mount Everest, a feat he achieved on the 23rd of May 1995, at the age of 33. As such, he was the 724th climber to reach the summit. The final ascent was made with Michael Knakkergaard-Jorgensen, the first Dane to the summit. At 33, Jones was the same age as Edmund Hillary when he reached the summit. And indeed this was achieved virtually 32 years on to the day. Jones was born and bred in Pontrhydfendigaid, a village near Tregaron, Ceredigion, in mid-Wales. Everest expedition. Jones and Jorgensen were part of a larger world team, led by Henry Todd of the UK, and using Himalayan guides. Other members of the team were Paul Deegan, UK, Graham Ratcliffe, UK, Sean Smith, UK, Anatoly Bukrayev, Kazakhstan, Mozart Kateo, Brazil, Nicolas Chapaz, France, Valdemar Nikolovic, Brazil, Ryszard Pawlowski, Poland, and Nikolai Sitnikov, Russia. The first of the team to reach the summit was Ryszard Pawlowski on the 12th of May. Other groups following on the 14th of May and the 17th of May. Jones and Jorgensen formed the last group, reaching the summit on the 23rd of May. The team took the northern route, North Col, Northeast Ridge, following that of the former fatal expedition of George Mallory and Andrew Irvine in 1924. And their climb was equally plagued by poor weather. After 3 nights spent at the highest camp, their food and oxygen ran out. However, they learned on the radio that some abandoned oxygen bottles lay about 500 feet, 150 meters, above them, left by another expedition. They were also fortunate to find sufficient food, though bizarrely were joined by an American at this point, who, lost from another expedition, had overheard them on the radio. The American was, however, not in a good state physically, and Jones had to resort to threats to prevent him from tagging along and jeopardizing the push to the summit. There were, in fact, a lot of climbers on the mountain at the time. Jones was the 61st person to reach the summit in the month of May 1995 alone. And indeed the following day saw American Jeff Shea and 2 Sherpas on the summit, with the monthly May total in 1995 reaching 75 successful ascents. As of his impressions of the summit, Jones said, his ascent of Everest was made into a 52-minute film for television, and featured camera work by Eric Jones, another Welshman, but no relation, from Tregaron, who has now twice been part-way up Everest while working as a cameraman, but has never reached the summit. He was the 3rd member of the 1978 expedition when Reinhold Messner and Habeler became the first to reach the summit without oxygen cylinders. Jones is not the only Welshman to have climbed Everest. The first disabled person, amputee, to successfully do so was Welshman Tom Whitaker. On the 27th of May 1998, he had previously lost his right foot and part of his leg in a car accident in 1979. Other peaks and firsts. Jones has climbed in many countries across the world. His climbs include some firsts. In 1991, with Mick Fowler, he attempted the South Ridge of Altitude in Pakistan but, despite reaching 6,500 meters, was forced to descend due to bad weather. With Fowler, however, Jones had previously made the first ascent of Hunza Peak, 6,200 meters. In the same year, the same trip saw Jones climbing Bubbly Moting, but this summit was reached 10 days earlier by a Swedish team. On the 25th of January 2001, Jones made the first ascent. solo, of the highest of the Three Brothers Peaks, 2,008 meters, at the northwest end of the Allardyce Range on South Georgia. The Brothers actually consist of 4 peaks whose summits are 1,466 meters, 1,783 meters, 1,837 meters and 2,008 meters above sea level. Shortly after arrival the weather deteriorated, and although it cleared, the three-man team of Jones, Novak and Hughes was later kept tent-bound for 5 days. On the last day, the team left the tent in a whiteout, expecting a later clear spell, which had been forecast. However, when conditions remained bad, the other two decided not to continue, and Jones went on with the climb alone. Better conditions did indeed follow, and he reached the summit via the northeast ridge. This was part of a combined climbing and filming expedition, which resulted in 5 30-minute programs, recorded in Welsh, and entitled Hafgan ol Goreath, Summer Midst Winter. It was broadcast with English subtitles. The series included Sailing to Get There and Back, History of the Island, South Georgia's Wildlife, First Ascent of the Three Brothers. In 2005, together with Julian Freeman Atwood, Rich Howarth and Skip Novak, Jones completed a 17-day south-north traverse of South Georgia. As a part of this they made the first ascent of PK 5,680, 1,727 meters. Some pictures here. In October 1996, with Mick Fowler and Julian Freeman Atwood, Jones made the first ascent of Yes, Please, a crag in Orkney. A picture here. Other work. Following his Everest climb, Jones was afterwards in demand to make TV programs for younger climbers. He also supports local climbing and walking groups and is often invited to speak at functions arranged by such groups, which include the Alpine Club, UK, and the British Mountaineering Council. He is a former vice president of the latter. Following a meet of the Mountaineering Council of Scotland, he said, "One aspect of these meets that is very important to me is that the visiting climbers go home with a much clearer understanding of, and often downright enthusiasm for, the adventure climbing ethic." Quote, in 2003 a talk he gave was entitled, Speed Climbing, From Strone to the Antarctic. Davith Morgan, secretary of CLWB Tregaron, Tregaron's walking club, described him as a Welsh speaker. He is occasionally approached to speak on Radio Cymru and S4C. Jones now lives with his wife and daughter in Frodsham, Cheshire, working as a freelance fisheries consultant. See also, Timeline of climbing Mount Everest. List of 20th-century summiters of Mount Everest. Mount Everest, The British Story. With team details. Article on BBC website. Taking part in a Scottish winter climb. 2003.